Welcome to Toffee TV. It is the match preview. Everton versus Crystal Palace, Goodison Park, football, real football, proper football, returns, and a game Everton must win. Biggest game of the season, this one, Baz.
Almost real football.
Yeah, nearly.
Still a TV sport.
Yeah.
It is a game, Everton. It is the biggest game of the season.
Yeah.
There's no doubt about it for Everton, because obviously lost the last couple of games after a 3-match winning run, which gave us put us in a great position. We've now lost the last 2, and it's we've got to bounce back in the Premier League. 3 defeats if you include the FA Cup game at City, so Everton have got to bounce back. And normally, home game with crowd and that, you'd be really, going, we'll win this, really looking forward to it. But Goodison hasn't been a happy hunting ground for us so far this season, and that has to change quite simply on Monday.
Yeah, and certainly now, last stretch of the season, 10 games to go. Some players have had a chance to rest, get some recuperation. Certainly the South American players.
Yeah.
The likes of Dominic Calvert-Lewin only played 1 game for England, so all he's been doing really is training. So that's good.
Scored a couple of goals though.
Luca Dean the same. Only played 1 game for France. Will have trained a lot like the other players. So for me, you've got to start as you mean to go on, haven't you? And if Everton want to get that European place, we want to get that Europa League place, obviously, or Conference League place, depending on whether the cup's being won by the right people. Everton have to start proving that they can win the home games, because they have to win the home games. We win our home games, we leave ourselves with a fantastic chance of getting into Europe. But if we don't, then we've got no chance. We've got no chance. The season's just gonna fall away, and we have to see that in this game. We have to see that intensity in this game. With a team like Crystal Palace, who are, they're always tough. Palace are always a tough team to beat. They always make it hard for you. But they're the teams you've got to beat. These are the teams you've got to beat. And we've got a few of these games coming up now. And we've got to start with 3 points, and nothing else really is acceptable if you want Europe.
Yeah, we had Burnley in the last home game, and that should have been 3 points on the face of it.
Yeah.
But we didn't compete the way they did, and they deserved the victory in the end. And it'll be the same Monday if we don't work as hard as Palace and put the same commitments in and give them the respect they deserve, then we won't win that either. And there's been too many of those games at Goodison. We've 1 home win since December is shocking, really, for Everton. And it has to start Monday. We're in a good position still.
Yeah.
Regardless of where the league table is, if we win our game in hand, we're in a really good position. We'd be 2 points behind the Champions League place. But obviously, by the time this game's played, other teams will have played. So, could look worse, the league, than what it actually is. So for that respect and staying right in there, we have to win this game. And if we win the game, then, we give ourselves a chance of just remaining in the hunt, because I think we'd have all took being involved in a European chase with 10 games to go, being well involved in it. But doesn't mean anything. Whatever we've done earlier in the season doesn't mean anything. We have to win these games, and Monday is the perfect opportunity just to get a little 10-game season going and off to a good start. And we win that, then we consolidate where we are, 49 points. Then you can start looking and going, right, can we get a bit of momentum going? And you're absolutely right. If we win all our home games, and there's a couple of, they'll all be tough. But if we win all our home games, then 15 points, gives Everton, what are we on, 40? Gives us 61 points without doing anything away from home. 61 points gives you a good chance of being in Europe next season.
Yeah.
And that's without anything away.
Yeah, the minimum for me is 60 points. We have to get to 60 points even before we start talking about getting to Europe. Getting in Europe, 60 points to me is where it's going to start.
Yeah.
So we have to get that before anything. And you're right, home games have been our Achilles heel of recent, and Palace is not going to be any different in the style of the game. We know they're going to come and try and play counter-attack, and they've got the players to do it.
Yeah.
And they'll ask the same questions that other teams have asked, which is, can you break us down? I imagine I think they'll do again the thing that Burnley did and I think West Brom did, which is they'll try and start quick they'll say, Roy
Knock
Hodgson,
us out of ours,
Roy Hodgson will say, first 10 minutes, if you can get a goal against these ain't coming back. And I think that's what Sam Allardyce's plan was. And I think certainly that's what Burnley's plan was, because they've seen the way we are. I think if we get the first goal, we know that we've got a great chance of winning any game scoring the first goal, but it completely flips when the opposition scored the first goal. So I think you'll see first 10 minutes, they'll because we always seem to start games slowly anyway. So I think that'll be the plan from then, and then on it'll be, set pieces for both teams really. We'll be looking for set pieces, they'll be looking for set pieces, but I think they'll try and soak it up as much as they can, and that's where we need to have something a little bit different. It's good that James Rodriguez should be available, and he can be that creative spark that just can open the side up. But we need players around them. We said this before. You need those players around them, that little bit of energy that we generally just lack anyway within our squad. So the players have got to show it, because there's too many times when you hear the excuses and you hear, oh, we've got to be better than that and all. Or well, go and be better than that. Like this time last season, in the season, the last 10 games or whatever, once we got beat by Spurs, it all started to be a little bit just drifting away.
They knew that it was
they drifted away. They had their flip-flops on, even though they couldn't go anywhere. And we've got to get away from that this season. We've got to, like you've just said, it's a 10-game season now, and whoever, we've got the extra game on all these teams, and if we win that game and back it up with other results, then we've got a great chance. We've still got a great chance of getting, automatic, Europa League qualification. If you want to start at that point, I know the Champions League's still there, but if you want to say fifth place is definitely still there, it definitely is still there.
We win it. We win the game. We're in fifth place, right? Well, we're with West Ham, aren't we? So there's other teams. You've got to just do what you can do. You can't worry about what other teams are doing. Put the pressure on those other teams by winning the games. Win these games, beat Palace, and then it's like next we go to Brighton. If put it this way, the teams above us had these fixtures, you'd be looking going, good chance they'll win both of those games. Palace at home and Brighton away. It'll be tough games, but they want to achieve something, they'll go and win those games. So for Everton, we have to do the same. It's not going to be easy. A game against Palace is never easy. They're always tough. But we have to come out. I still have the belief, and I might be blind faith, that we will turn in some good performances before the season. And what I mean by that is we'll click in some games, because in a lot of games there's been moments where we've displayed good things, but we haven't sustained it at all. Levels have dropped. What we said after the Man City game, the application and attitude was there against City in the Cup. The quality wasn't at the end of the day, because they got the goal and we played very much hoping to be the team that got the first goal and then tried to defend it. Yeah. They got it and there was no way back for us. But the application and the attitude was right for that game. It really was. It hadn't been right the week before against Burnley. That was a game where our players looked at them and these are fourth and bottom. We're better than these. We'll beat these just by turning up. And before we knew it, we were 2-0 down. And then we got a goal back and we were unable to do anything else. And you're right, other teams have started quickly. These will come and play a solid formation, and it's can we break them down. I mean, we'll have a look at their formation now, which is what they've used a lot and what they used last time out. And we just put it on the screen now. They play a 4-4-2. This was the team they used last time out against West Brom. They beat them, so they got a back four there of Van Arnold, Kyle, Koyate, who scored against us in the game of Palace from a set play, Joel Ward, and then four across the middle, Ayew, Reedwell, Milivojevic and Eze, and Benteke and Wilf Zaha up front as the two. And obviously, Zaha will drop in and pick it up and run at you. And in fact, those two, we beat Palace 3-1 at Goodison last year, but those two combined for what was the equalising goal for Benteke, wasn't it, which went under Pickford. So Everton will have to watch out for the counter-attack. And in Zaha, who's a player who Evertonians have wanted and Everton have looked at a few times, the threat he carries. He's had a really good season this year for goals. Palace's top scorer with 9 goals this season. So he's done really well. And Benteke's got 5. He started scoring of late. Just to remind you that he can be a handful. But you look at Crystal Palace, you know, the stats, the 2 wins in the last 5 games, they're averaging a goal a game, but they've let in 47 goals. You know, so they're not great at that. But in fact, I think only Sheffield United have got a worse, certainly away from home, worse away record in terms of conceding goals as well. So Everton will have opportunities, make no mistake about it. Everton will have opportunities in this game. It's whether or not they can take them. It's as simple as that. And both teams don't love possession, so it'll be interesting. Our sweet spot's about 38%, but we're averaging just over 47% for the game. Crystal Palace are at about 40% per game, so you'd expect Everton to have more of the ball. Sometimes that's an issue for us, but hopefully with James Rodriguez looking like he's going to be fully fit and ready to go, we will be able to use the ball a little bit better than what we have done.
Yeah, because it's about making chances, isn't it? Ultimately, it's about making chances, and that's what we've lacked in the last few games. Is opening up the. It's what we've lacked all season. You know, it makes me laugh when people talk about Calvert-Lewin, the problems with Calvert-Lewin, what's wrong with Calvert-Lewin, the things he doesn't do. When you look at the numbers, he works off scraps. His conversion rate and the team's conversion rate is one of the best in Europe, because it has to be. Like Calvert-Lewin, I'm sure he's in like the top 5 in Europe for the conversion rate. Certainly up there.
Yeah. Well, Everton is 16 to 17 for creating chances, and the top, I think, or second for conversion rate. So that I know there's more to it than that, of course there is. But if you actually just put those numbers in, there was a graphic out the other day with the bottom of where we take our touches and where every bit's bottom, and you know, so just by looking at it and looking at the chances, I think we're averaging about 9 shots a game. Just not great, really. Crystal Palace are only on about 6.5, I think, per game. But for chances to create for your centre forwards, we're basically having to take every opportunity we get, because otherwise we've got no chance in games. And ideally, what you would say is, and I'm giving Carlo and the coaching staff the benefit of the doubt for this season, but talking like next season and stuff, we should 20 shots a game. Everton should be aiming for, because teams going for European football and that have between 15 and 20 shots a game. Some have 30. So it's about, can we create a better quality of chance? We haven't been able to do it so far this season. Some games we have. We started off like, you know, all guns blazing, didn't we, the first 4 or 5 weeks of the season? And I know it coincided with us losing James and losing, you know, Luca Dean and things. And we have had, every single player's been injured for Everton this season. I still think they're the only club in the Premier League to have had every single player injured at some time. But that can't be an excuse. Your squad's there your squad's there for a reason, and we have to get better at creating opportunities. We create more chances for Dom and create more chances for the Charles, and we'll score a hell of a lot more goals, because they are good finishes, but we just don't give them enough opportunity. And
feeding off scraps, aren't they? At the end of the day, these players are feeding off scraps, and I think maybe the frustration for some people is because we are feeding off scraps. It feels like every chance we miss is hugely important, but like you just said there, if you put more opportunities in front of these players, then the more opportunities he's going to have to score. I mean, Dom's ratio is fantastic for this season. And it's no wonder Richarlison hasn't scored as many goals because of the amount of opportunities.
The thing with Dominic Calvert-Lewin is no striker takes every chance. Haaland, who's incredible young striker, love him, brilliant, doesn't take all his chances, because strikers don't. But what you gamble on as a centre forward is, I'll get 3 opportunities, and if I take 1, we're doing okay. You know, and if you give me 5 and I take 2, then we'll win games. But Dominic Calvert-Lewin, it's almost like, I've got to take the 1 opportunity you create for me in this game. You know, I know Burnley, people pointed to the Burnley game and he missed a couple of sitters, but he also scored. You know, but that's normal. Normal strikers do miss chances. The nature of the game. The one thing he has to get better at is, can he create a goal for himself? I don't think he can. And I think that's why some people criticise him. He's never won. I don't think he's going to bend one in from 25 yards or drop the shoulder and pop it in. He's not that type of centre forward. He needs to be sharper with if he's given the opportunity in a one-on-one. I think we know that. I think he's got to get better at them finishing. But in general, if you give him something between the posts, he takes them. And Everton should be working on that, and maybe they have been, and they probably have been. But if that's the key, can we get Richarlison into that penalty area and give them opportunities to take? And other people have to come up with the goals as well, Pet. Can't just rely on
No, that's the problem, isn't it? That's the main problem. I don't understand how criticism of players who are doing their job to the best of their ability for most of the time. There's players who get away with, not doing stuff or not being consistent enough. The midfields get loads of times, and makeup of the midfield is what it is. It's mainly dreadful because in terms of creating
balance.
Games of creating chances and scoring goals, that's only going to come with new players, and having some players back fit. So having Rodriguez back is a
third top scorer, by the way,
is a major boost. If he's, hopefully he's all right. Any hope of Jean-Philippe Gabam being back for this one?
No. If we get him back in May for a couple if he can make 2 or 3 appearances by the end of the season, that'll be a big boost because. At one stage it looked like he wasn't going to be back this season, and I think if we can do that and we can get him some time, then it'll be huge. I think for next season if he can stay fit.
Do you think? Do you think Carlo may have to start gambling a few little bits and pieces? I don't know whether he thinks about playing Seamus Coleman right back, then a Mason Holgate, little things like that, or do you think it's better to have the approach where it's still solid at the back? Especially if James Rodriguez is playing off the right.
Yeah, it's a tricky one, this, because where Zaha's playing, Coleman's actually had really good games against Wilf Zaha the last few seasons, like really good, to the point where Zaha's hardly had a kick. And Coleman knows what Zaha does. Holgate's a bit more of a competitor, but with them playing Zaha in field, they've got either Eze out there or Ayew. You see, the problem is, I guess, for Everton is being caught between the two things of do we attack or do we sit back? If Holgate plays right back, then we've got nothing down there. We'll have James back coming, but we'll have no overlap. Mason Holgate would tell you that himself. He's not natty. In fact, he has done an interview, I think, with the Everton website and said it's not natural for me to go on the overlap. Try to join him, but it's not natural for me where Seamus Coleman is. So it depends if Everton think they need to stretch teams out. Not having the core in midfield to cover those areas is obviously a key thing. But I mean, what would you do? Would you play Coleman right back in this?
You know
what?
He
did play very well against City.
I'd actually be tempted to play Coleman in front of him in front of Holgate again, and maybe play James Rodriguez essentially.
So have like say Allen and Davis in midfield with James ahead of them.
Yeah. Or Allen and
Gomez.
Maybe Gomez, depending on what you want. No, it's the size. That was the height, isn't it?
Yeah,
it's the height for Gomez.
Yeah,
just to get something a little bit. You mentioned Zaha there. If you're doubling up there, then you're working on stopping their biggest threat. If that's what we need to do, but I don't know. Maybe there's something in that. Maybe there's something in. I don't really see anyone who's given us width because Holgate doesn't. But then it's that thing of you play without width, but we really. Dominic Calvert thrives on crosses. He really does thrive on crosses. He scored the goal against Burnley. He scored the goal for England. Both. One.
So Coleman would be the right midfielder then, really, wouldn't he?
Yeah, I know. I don't know. I'm not saying that would go for that. I'm just saying. With 10 games to go, could that be an option? Because we have no natural width on the right-hand side.
Wobie's not giving us it, is he? And he likes to come inside anyway. James comes inside. He's not want to go on the outside, is he?
That's what I'm saying. It's like
there's no one banging the door down to play there.
No, you're damned if you do, damned if you don't. Because that James plays starts on the right, he'll drift inside. But then, of course, if you start him inside, you lose a midfielder. So and do you balance that up with having Seamus in? So I'm not like, I can't sit here and go, I want Seamus to play right back because I don't know whether he can play right back, all the time. But I know
he's even just been playing centre back for Ireland.
But I think he can play that role in front of Holgate. I think he gives a little bit of protection, and maybe that allows Holgate to shift inside at times and squeeze into 3 centre backs. Not playing as 3 centre-backs. You know what I mean? Just it gives us a little bit more protection, but I think Seamus can get up as well. Because we need to do something about that right-hand side.
It just depends. I mean, for this game, possibly because they only play with 2, or have been playing with 2 centre midfield players. So therefore,
match them up.
Then you can match them up. You're not missing out if you put, if you drop Hammers into the middle, you've still got almost an act, because you can almost say you're playing a 4-4-2 with Richarlison on the left and Coleman on the right, and then Hammers can play in, behind Dom. What that does then is the emphasis then is on Richarlison getting close to Dom, therefore the through balls as well from Hammers. But you're right, we do. Dominic Calvert-Lewin does need crosses into the penalty area, and if you've got them coming in from both sides, he's got more opportunity. If they know that all they have to do is stop Luca Dean from delivering, and that's it, then it's not that. I mean, that's what's caught us out in so many of these games, that they've just cut the supply off. Yeah. We haven't had James Rodriguez for a number of games, or we haven't had Seamus Coleman. So if you stop Luca Dean's delivery into the box, then how else are Everton going to score? And when we opened the season and we were flying, we had both of them. Yeah. And if you think back to Crystal Palace away, we had the ball in, James round the corner, Coleman cuts it back, and Dom puts it in and we're winning 1-0 because Seamus was getting in round the back. Well, maybe they might go for that, either use him in the right midfield or use him at right back and just see how we go. And then there'll be other games when I think the manager will be a lot more cautious. Away at Arsenal and away at...
I just think that we've got to come up with a way of getting around the back of teams because we thrive on crosses. We know whether it's in the air or on the floor. Dom thrives on crosses. He wants the ball coming across the box because he reacts quicker than anyone else most of the time, and the ball ends up in the back of the net. Okay, you said there, Luca Dean. Now, if James Rodriguez is going inside, then he can go either way, and he can pick players out and he can pick runners. But if you haven't got that runner going down the right, you're going to have it on the left all day with Dean. But if you haven't got it down the right, like you just said, then you cut off the supply to Dean and you've cut off Everton. And there has to be something down the right. And I don't know where, can't honestly sit here hand on heart and go, Seamus is the key. But at the same time, you look at it and go, well, who is then? Because as you said, Iwobi just wants to do the same thing. He just wants to come inside and have
He's a link player, isn't he?
But he wants a right back going past him. And, there's a common denominator. We need a new right back. We all know that. But it's
I hope, what I would say just finally is that I would play Mina in this one with Godfrey.
Yeah, I would, yeah.
I wouldn't be bringing Michael Keane back here because Benteke is doing well and he's a handful in the air.
Physical.
The physical aspect of it.
I think that could be our best partnership going forward.
I also wonder just if we will at some stage get to see what I've been banging on about all season, which is Holgate or Godfrey in midfield. I just don't know. Maybe not for this one, but I just mean as we move forward. Just some stats before we finish. Palace have lost the last 3 away games at Everton, more than they had done in the previous 10. 4 of Palace's 5 wins in the Premier League against us have come at Goodison Park. Everton have lost 7 of their last 11 Premier League home games, winning 3 and drawing 1, having lost just 1 of their previous 15.
They're not real.
No, I'm just saying. The 7 home defeats this season is the most in the Premier League, single Premier League campaign since Martinez's last season, which was 8. Palace have kept just 1 clean sheet in their last 18 Premier League away games. That came in a goalless draw at Arsenal in January. Only Sheffield United have kept fewer clean sheets on the road than the Eagles this season.
Good stuff.
Palace have conceded a league-high 13 Premier League goals in the final 15 minutes of games. 1 more than they did in the whole of last season. Everton are averaging just 9.8 shots in the Premier League, the second lowest total in a single campaign since 97-98. However, our shot conversion rate is 14.7, is the highest in a single top flight from the same season, obviously because you've had hardly any chances. 5 of Everton striker Richarlison's 6 Premier League goals this season have been the winning goal in the game. The only player to score more winning goals for the Toffees in a single Premier League season was Paul Rideout in 94-95. So,
interesting.
There you go.
There you go. Make sure you head over to toffeepicks.com if you want to win some money. Get involved with the game over there for your chance to win.
It's free to play. The jackpot is pot is £500.
Yeah.
We had 5 winners, didn't we, for the Manchester City game?
100
All
quid each.
walked away with it, 100 quid each. So
you've got to be
good.
18. You've got to bet responsibly, and T's and C's apply, and it's free. It is free. Head over and sign up if you haven't already. Toffeepicks.com. The link will be in the description. And if you have signed up, go and play the game right now. Get it on your phone. We haven't got an app yet. We're going to get an app soon, but it's on. Create like one of those little home screen apps for your phone, so you can just press on it. The game will be ready for you, and while the game's on, you can there'll be a live leaderboard as well, so you can keep an eye on how you're doing. Just 12 questions, dead easy, predicting things for the game, dead easy. Make sure you check that out.
Go and watch the video now and play along as we're making our selections.
The video showing you what we went for this week, and you can play along as we're doing the video. That's probably the easiest thing to do.
Yeah. Check that out.
Yeah.
It's good. Play responsibly, but it's good.
There you go. Fingers crossed. Monday, 6 o'clock, Easter Monday, 6
Kevin
o'clock.
Friend, the referee.
Marvellous.
There you go. But be honest, they've had whatever ref I said, you wouldn't have gone, oh yeah, he's great.
I couldn't get less about refs. They're all rubbish.
Yeah.
Anyway.
There you go.
There you go. Don't forget, give this video a like, subscribe if you haven't already. We're trying to get 50,000 subscribers.
Very close.
We're very close. If you haven't subscribed, we need you to subscribe.
Thank you.
There you go. If you want live daily videos, join us over on Patreon as well. Thanks for watching. We'll see you later.